Be ready. 5 seconds.
The Indian voters have off and on shown their strength, thrown out one government and brought in another. The elections, conducted more or less peacefully, have on the whole proved that democracy, at least in its electoral aspect, is well entrenched in India. Indeed, Indian democracy is thriving on the basis of other criteria as well. Campaigning is free and open with no restriction on any political party. The changeover from one government to another is mostly smooth and peaceful, and the government is accountable to the people. These are positive aspects which we ought to value. In a democratic system, people have the right to participate in the decision making process of their government. A democratic system is also characterized by the separation of powers. This means that power is divided among different branches of government, such as the legislative, executive, and judicial branches. Each branch has its own unique responsibilities and powers, and they are designed to check and balance each other. Today, say some analysts, Indian democracy has become more representative, with more regional groups coming to the fore and having a say in the political arena. But in the circumstances, can any party truly claim the majority of votes? In the first past the post electoral system followed here, and with the existence of so many parties in the fray, the government that is formed is never truly representative. It has the support of much less than even 50% of the voters. If Indian democracy has become more representative, it is only in the sense that several caste, sectoral, and regional groupings have risen to claim a share of the people's vote. This has led to leaders who feel they have to see to the welfare of the particular group which they represent and not all the people. And equally, people have taken to voting along caste and communal lines in the belief that this will ensure their welfare. It is the short term gains that people seek, and it is these short term gains that the political party tries to address. The promise of populist measures directed towards sectors of population is lapped up eagerly without thought as to how and for how long these promises can be implemented. Again, populist and impassioned speeches can easily sway the electorate. In the recent elections, one cannot explain the victory of film stars who have just entered the political arena and are clearly at loss over political issues. Their victory is surely to be attributed to other reasons than their competence or ability to serve the people they are to represent. If the people voted for them, surely it was not on the basis of politics. Even now, distribution of liquor and money or gifts is used as a ploy to woo voters, and the voters also accept these benefits. In the maze of caste and communal and regional groupings, other deserving groups lose out because their cause cannot win votes. There is no doubt that money and muscle power have much to do with elections in India, and many a constituency suffers from rigging. even in the age of the electronic voting machine, and criminal intimidation in voting besides bogus voting and even bought votes. To too many people in India, the right to vote is per se the one and only criterion of democracy. But a healthy democracy means much more. It implies the existence and enjoyment of civil rights and socio-economic rights. Indeed, the vote is just an adjunct to these. Today, if the poorer sections of the population vote in greater numbers, it seems as if they are clutching desperately to this one right in the absence of those other rights except on paper. There is a great joy in the power experience, the power to change governments. But people will be empowered experience, the power to change governments. But people will be empowered only if the rule of law and equality before the law are firmly entrenched into the politico socio economic system. Only that would ensure that democracy has come of age in this country. Inequality of rights and disparity of opportunities has been breeding ground for revolutions. So, on the ruins of monarchy and aristocracy, democracy has come into being with its doctrine of political equality. It is undoubtedly a grand social ideal. It is a social order aiming at the greatest available welfare for the whole population and not for a class. In addition to voting, citizens in a democratic society have many other ways to participate in the political process. They can express their opinions through peaceful protests, public demonstrations, and other forms of civic engagement. They can also join political parties, run for office, and work to influence government policy. According to eminent political theorists, there are three basic conditions which a democracy must fulfill. It must aim at the greatest good of the largest number. It must aim at settling differences through discussions and compromise, and it must work for the establishment of an egalitarian society. If we cast a critical glance backwards, we shall see that the evolution of a genuinely democratic system in India has been continuously blighted by these factors ever since we became free. Another challenge facing democratic societies is the issue of voter apathy. Many citizens feel disillusioned with the political process and choose not to vote or participate in other forms of civic engagement. This can lead to low voter turnout and a lack of representation for certain segments of society. Democracy can also be vulnerable to external threats such as authoritarian regimes, foreign interference, and terrorism. These threats can undermine the democratic process and erode the freedoms and rights that citizens hold dear. Despite these challenges, democracy remains the most effective form of government for promoting individual rights, protecting freedoms, and ensuring that power remains in the hands of the people. It is up to citizens, political leaders, and other stakeholders to work together to address the challenges facing democratic societies and to ensure that democracy continues to thrive and evolve in the years to come.